The knocking started at 6:02 a.m., 3 sharp taps that sliced through the quiet, and when I opened the door in socks and a t-shirt, I was staring at a neon pink citation held like a trophy. $500 for a so-called noise violation caused by my coffee grinder, and the woman holding it, Linda Avery. Blonde bob leopard scarf perfume that outran the smell of cut grass, gave me that customer service smile and said almost sweet, "AB Pack smart. If you want to avoid more of these," so I didn't argue. I took a photo with the timestamp and I thought, all right, if this is a paper game, then we'll play it with paper. My name's Ethan. I'm a carpenter with army habits, early mornings tools, squared rules in writing, and I bought a little ranch on Willow Bend because Maple Crest looked like the kind of place where you wave at people you don't know and kids ride scooters. Until the street lights flicker. The clubhouse smells like burnt coffee and lemon cleaner. The pool gate squeaks, but quiet. It's quiet, you know what I mean? And I figured I could fix a squeaky gate. I just didn't plan on fixing an HOA president. 2 weeks in a certified letter lands, commercial vehicle in driveway, and my crime is a 2017 F-150 3/4 ton. No logos, no ladder rack, just a work truck with drywall dust and an honest door ding. So I pull the covenants highlight the rule. Over 1 ton or with signage is prohibited. Mine is neither. I take photos from 3 angles, attach the paint code for my allegedly unapproved front door while I'm at it, and I email it all. Polite as Sunday. Then the reply hits at 7:14 a.m. Violation stands. The board retains discretionary enforcement, and I learn the 2 most dangerous words in neighborhood politics. After that, the pink slips arrive like bills for crimes I never committed. Garbage can. Visible for 12 minutes after pickup. I've got ring footage of me rolling it in at 12:07 grass at 2. 8 inches under a 3-inch limit, measured and photographed with a tape. Wind chimes at 45 dB under a 60 dB cap. Noise carries at dawn, she says, and I'm standing there with my phone app and a mockingbird, heckling us from the oak. I send the screenshots. She sends the gavel sound in email form. Violation stands. And when I show up for the board meeting, I find there is no board, just Linda behind a folding table with a $12 gavel that still has the sticker on it. I lay out the photos and the clauses, and my calm voice. She gives the gavel 1 polite tap and says, "Next item." And I walk home, realizing we're not speaking the same language. I'm speaking evidence. She's speaking authority. You start comparing notes with neighbors, and a pattern. Either fades or gets darker, ours gets darker. Marcus across the loop. Parks a Silverado, the same class as mine, and never gets cited cooperative resident if she purrs at the mailboxes, meanwhile Mrs. Delgado down the street, 72 hands that tremble a little, is dinged for weeds in her front bed, even though she's got a city email approving her native pollinator garden. Tasha, the night shift nurse, gets written up for a portable hoop her son uses on Saturdays, while 2 of Linda's book club friends keep RVs on the curb half the month without a single pink slip. It doesn't take a detective, just a spreadsheet. So I open my laptop and build one. Date rule, who got cited, who didn't, what proof exists, and the pattern flips the lights on. I file a records request the way the bylaws say. Minutes financials, vendor contracts, violation logs. 10 business days to comply, and on day 9 I get under audit, 60 to 90 days. Which is neighbor speak for stall. Then one bright morning, she shows up with 2 rent-a-guards and a fake-looking notice clip art seal. Wrong statute. You have 72 hours before we escalate, she says, syrupy and loud enough for the sidewalk. And I don't grab, I don't shout, I let my phone chirp that shutter sound. Smile, I tell the camera. Because the lens doesn't blink. I hire a lawyer, Samantha Briggs. Clean notepad. Steady eyes. She skims the letter and says, "Not how liens work, keep documenting." Then she drafts a cease and desist, and her real advice is simple and sharp. Get neighbors in a room. Get facts on a wall. Get an independent election monitor on standby, and be patient bullies. Swing big right before they fall. So we build a room out of my kitchen. Marcus brings truck stop coffee. Tasha brings spring rolls. Mrs. Delgado brings pan dulce and a stack of violations held by a tired paperclip. We add our stories to the spreadsheet, attach photos and emails, and the pattern grows teeth. People, Linda smiles at never get cited people. She side-eyes, drown in pink, yeah, that happened. The records finally arrive 2 hours after Samantha sends round 2. I print the financials, lay them next to check images, and the maintenance contract from the landscaper who actually mows our medians, and the numbers don't match. The HOA ledger says we pay Oak River. Grounds 44 grand a year. The real contract says 22. Same rate for 3 years. I pull the state business registry, find Oak River tied to Avery Whitfield LLC. And if Avery sounds familiar, it's because that's Linda's maiden name tucked into an old pecan pie post on her Facebook. I don't gloat. I highlight dollar totals like I'm painting sunlight. Right on cue, she mails a glossy flyer with a patriotic border. Protect property. Values from outside agitators. There's my truck at a bad angle. With the door ding circled in red, the copy doesn't technically lie, which is a special kind of talent. Calls me an absentee investor. I live in the house I mow. Blames legal costs on my frivolous complaints. Meanwhile, we're paying double for landscaping and calling it rain. And 2 nights later, my truck gets keyed. Long, deliberate scratches like someone signed their name with a nail. I file a police report because that's what adults do. The officer's kind. And realistic. Could be kids, could be a grudge, he says. And I install more cameras on Rage Just Focus. We book the clubhouse for a member's audit night promise receipts, set out 3 binders. Violations vendors, bylaws, and a pile of highlighters. Because some folks have to color the truth with their own hands before they believe it. Samantha helps me cut a 20-minute deck into 3 slides. What the rule says, what the invoices show, what the bylaws allow. And we print a clean petition for a recall election. We need 12 signatures. We already have 20, and Linda tries to front-run us with an emergency dues hike, plus 35% for legal expenses. So Marcus stands up and asks for invoices. She says attorney-client privilege, and I plug in my laptop and put the check images on the TV anyway. Phones come out, the room gets church quiet. I flip to the registry page. Cousin's name. Cousin's company. Double billing. And you can feel the floor tilt. We file the recall paperwork in the morning with Patricia Hale, a retired paralegal who's watched more elections than most people have watched ball games. Independent ballot box, 3 observers. Sign-in sheets, she says, pen tapping like a metronome. No funny business. And that night, Linda emails the neighborhood claiming the election's postponed. Patricia replies, "It isn't date stands. Facts stand ground." Under. Linda doesn't then. Linda tries one last angle. slides an envelope of cash onto Marcus's porch railing, and asks him to withdraw and endorse her. "Think of it as a consulting fee," she says. And Marcus's wife is behind the screen door, hearing every word he tells Linda to step off the property, and hands me the envelope at my kitchen table, while Samantha says affidavit like a hammer hitting true. Election day feels like a storm pressing against the windows. I grind beans slow on purpose and enjoy the quiet Linda once ticketed by. 5:30, the parking lot's full winter coats, brushing arms projector fan, humming ballot box. Lock clicking like a tiny door, finding courage. Patricia takes the gavel, hers now, and says, "Candidates are members tonight, not officers." Linda points at me and calls me an absentee investor, destroying standards, voice shaking, and I walk up with my 3 slides and a steady voice. I live on Willow Bend. I mow my own grass. I read the bylaws. Here's what they say. Slide 1. The truck clause, 3/4 ton. No signage, compliant. Slide 2. Invoices to Oak River at $44K. Versus the real landscaper at 22 plus the registry link to Avery Whitfield LLC. Slide 3. The bylaw that lets members recall a board and require an independent audit. No shouting, no grandstanding. I let the silence do math. Ballots shuffle like dry leaves. The box disappears to the side room with 3 witnesses and comes back in Patricia's hands like a new truth. President, Marcus, 76, Linda, 9. A gasp and a clap race each other around the room. Motions fly, rescind petty citations from the past year, refund improper fines, commission an independent audit with a 60-day deadline. Eyes roll like a wave, and then comes the small, big part. Patricia asks for the binder and the key fob. Linda holds on a heartbeat too long, mascara brimming, hands shaking. She looks at me and whispers, "You planned this." I shake my head. No. I documented this. And the binder slides, the fob clicks, and the gavel stops being a threat and goes back to being a tool. That's where my story ends, right at the handoff. No victory parade, no chest thumping, just a room deciding what kind of place it wants to be. And if you're wondering about lines, standards versus control neighbors or enforcers, clipboards or community, I ask myself the same things when I pass the dark clubhouse windows and hear nothing but sprinklers and late crickets. We can have rules and mercy order and dignity, the lawn at 2.8 inches and the heart soft. And when the next Linda shows up somewhere, someone will open a binder and find a page that says, "Here's how you fight fair. Here's how you win, without becoming what you hate." You know what I mean. Tell me what you think. Did I handle it right, or push it too far? By turning every moment into evidence, where's your line between protecting property values and policing people you don't like? Drop your city and the wildest HOA story you've seen. Tell me who was right, who was wrong, and what justice looks like when the rulebook and basic decency collide. And if you want more real stories, real people, real receipts, real consequences, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and share this with someone who needs a blueprint for standing up without burning down the block.